day, everyone. You're welcome to the channel. This is Yuglo Fashion. Today, we are learning how to make this sheep dress with front zipper. So, I tried to combine two colors to make the sheep dress. So, I assure you are going to learn a lot in this tutorial. If you are new here, please subscribe to my channel. And if you are a returning subscriber, please like and share my video as well. Thank you very much. So for this tutorial, for the short gown with front zipper, the measurement I'll be using is from shoulder to nipple point is 11.5, shoulder to under bust is 15, shoulder to half length is 18, then the circumference of the bust is 40.5, circumference of other bust 34, circumference of half length is 35.5, nipple to nipple is 8, then the gown length is 40. The hip measurement, the hip circumference is 44 and the shoulder is 16, sleeve is 15.5 and 14 inches. I'm making use of these two Ankara fabrics. They almost have the same design but different colors. But before I use it, before I cut the Ankara fabric, I'll first do my illustration on this brown paper. So first thing first is to fold the fabric into two, but because I'm using a brown paper, I will not fold this. So, and the next thing is to measure from the shoulder to the gown length, which is 40 inches. I've done that. So then I'll measure the nipple point. That's 11.5. The under bust is 15 inches. The half length is 18. And I'm determining the hip. The hip circumference is 44, so I will determine the hip on 24.5. And the nail length, I'll determine it on 34 inches. So I will rule those ones out. For the sheep dress, I've already measured the vertical ones. So now for the total circumference, I'll measure the shoulder. You know, I said I'm using this for the back bodice first. So for the shift dress, the back bodice, there's not going to be any zipper. So I'm not putting any zipper allowance here. I'll put it at the front because that's where the zip is going to be fixed. Then for the circumference of the shoulder, that's 16 inches divided by 2 will give this. Then the circumference of the bust, the nipple points, that's 40.5 divided by 4. Then for the under bust, that's 34 divided by 4. So I'll go ahead and connect the lines for these two. And I will add 2 inches for my seam allowance. So because it's a shift dress, what I will do now is I'll measure the circumference of the nipple point for the hip rather, that's 40 inches. So the circumference of the hip is 44 rather, 44 divided by 4. Then I will add 2 inches to that. Then from that point, I'll come to the down part. I'll measure the circumference that I have here already. 44 divided by 4 will give 11 inches, then plus the 2 inches I gave as the seam allowance, so making 13 inches. So that 13 inches, I'll add 3 inches to it. So that's for the shift. Then I'll come back to the neckline. Sorry, I no longer use the knee length because I don't really need the knee length in this shape. Then in this gown, then for the half length as well, you see that I did not measure the circumference there because I did not need that as well. So the shift dress is starting from the under bust. That's where the shape starts from. I'm trying to reshape this side. Then for the neckline, for the shoulder rather, from that shoulder I'll measure 7 inches down. I'll come down with 7 inches. Then connect it back to the shoulder and roll it out here. So to make my armhole, I'll I'll measure 4.5. Then from here I'll come in with 1 inch. Then by this side as well, I'll come out again with ½ inch. So I'm connecting everything together now. So that's that for the armhole. Then whatever I have here, this is 12.5. I'm going to transfer it to this side as well, where I so now for the down part, I'll measure 1 inch. Then from that 1 inch, I'm just going to make it slant a bit. You can see. So that's that for the back body. So I'll go ahead and cut it out. Now for the neckline, because it has collar at the neckline, I'm just going to measure 2.5 inches for the neck. Then I'll come down with just 1 inch. I'll connect the two together. Then from this point, I'll measure 1. Then I'll slant it to the and I'll connect it to the neckline. So now I've placed the brown paper on my fabric. I folded the fabric into two, like I said. So this is the back bodice, and I added folding allowance to the down part. I did not add it to the paper, to the brown paper, so I added it to the Ankara fabric itself. Then I will notch the middle of the neckline. Now for the front bodies, I still place the same illustration I made for the back bodies on it. So now I left 2 inches for my zipper allowance, since the zipper is going to be at the front of the shift dress. So I'll go ahead and still cut the same shape. Then after cutting it out, I will do some adjustment on it. The zipper allowance, I will open it. Then the 2 inches seam allowance for the folding, I will notch it. Then back to the neckline. For the front, I'm still going to come down a bit by 2.5 inches. I only cut 1 inch for the back bodies, but now I'm coming down with 2 inches because 2.5, because it's going to have collar there.
Then I will notch the zipper allowance out. Then from the shoulder, I will still come down again with half, and this half is going to affect both the neckline and the shoulder. That's because of the collar. I want it to relax well, so the back needs to be a bit longer than the front. So sorry, I will still have to measure half here again. So please, the neckline is 3 inches, not 2.5. 3 inches by 2.5 inches. Then, so now, because I'm using two different ankara, I'm going to plant. I measured 4.5 inches from the shoulder, 4.5 inches. So I want to slant it to the other side. So that's where I'm going to place my other ankara fabric. I'm going to cut that out. So now for the part that I cut off, I replaced it with the ankara blue fabric, and I added half inch to the down part to connect the bodies together. Now I've joined the two fabrics together. So the next thing is I've cut my facing. So I'm going to stitch the neckline with the facing ball. This I added paper stitch to it. But instead of me using this the facing to turn the neckline, I'm just going to stick the two together. And likewise this side, though I folded the down part of the facing. So I'm going to use my hemming gum to do the finishing here. But here I'm going to stitch it this way because I'm still going to place this on it. So I'll still explain that later, but I'll first stitch this side and this side. So I measure 4.5 inches by 39. So this is where the 4.5 inches by 39 is going to stay. I've measured it, and you know I have my zipper allowance there as well. So I'm going to use this fabric to turn here, and it's going to end here. It's part of the design, part of the style. Now I folded it this side. Don't mind the print, my collar is going to cover this up. That's why I use that side, because I know there is still going to be a collar on it. So I've stitched the neckline of the back as well, and I added paper stitch to the lining. So I'm going to turn the shoulder together for the front and the back bodies. So now for the zipper, I measured 2 inches for it earlier. So I will notch the notch as done. So I'm going to relaunch that. That's 2 inches. So I'm going to lock it down because the zipper I have here can't reach the down part. So the zipper I have is just 28 inches. For the zipper, I've just where the zipper is going to be fixed. I'm fixing the right side of the fabric, so I'm stitching from the wrong side. Now after fixing the zip, I'll measure the circumference of the neckline in order to get the measurement I need for my collar. So the circumference I have here is 16, 18 into 8 into 2, that's 16. So I will notch the mid part of the back bodies. Then For the collar, I'll measure 2.5 inches. That's the length I need, 2.5 inches. So after measuring that, measure 2.5 inches, then by 16 inches. So this is 16 inches. 16 inches plus 1 inch. One, this is 1 inch. That's all the same. So from there, here I'll come down with half. You see, this has opening and this is joint. So I'll come down with half. Then I'll connect this to the half from here. I'm trying to get to the half. Then here as well, I'll measure one from that 1 point. I'm coming down again with one. So I'm making this puff shape to so now after cutting the two, I used one for facing, while the other one will serve as the main fabric. So now what I'm going to do, I folded half inside, I ironed half inside. Now I will stitch half here. You know, I gave 1 inch allowance. I'm going to stitch half here and I will stitch half here as well. Now after stitching the half inch, I'm going to notch it round so as to make it relax. And I'll go ahead and iron it. So now the notch part, I'm going to use my pin to secure it together. So first of all, I'm going to stitch from the wrong side. I'm starting my stitches from the wrong side. So I'll go ahead and stitch it to the neckline. So after stitching the wrong side, I'll now turn it to the right side. The half inches I ironed inside, I'll fold it on it. Then I'll stitch it round. I can't calm myself down. I'm not to let myself get mad like this. Next time.